All right, so make any adjustments to make yourself even 5% more comfortable, and just notice those micro adjustments that we can do in practice, and that skill that translates off the mat to respond moment to moment. And if you like, you can close your eyes or settle your eyes to one thing and begin to sense how the energy shifts just from going through the threshold into this space together, and this co-regulating that happens even over the interwebs of helping each other stay or get into a window of tolerance, this place where we can get into a learning mode, get into a healing mode. And the physical focus, we're gonna have a physical focus and a spiritual theme this morning. So the physical focus is gonna be choosing, I'll walk us through a few anchors of a physical focus. So beginning to sense your neck in space, particularly right where the skull bones rest onto the top of the spine. And just play with where you can settle your skull bones right onto the top of the atlas vertebra, the utmost vertebra, and sense an invitation to let the skull bones relax, to take in the day that is holding all of us on this earth. And the neck is incredibly accurate in terms of giving us information of where we are in relation to being in or out of the window of tolerance, which is a nervous system term for healing. And just getting information from your neck about where are you on that continuum. And then the second place we'll check in with is the shoulders. And just sensing where your shoulders are, if they feel pronated and rounded forward or hiked up. One of the things I like to suggest to myself is allowing the shoulders to be like a cloak that drapes on the uppermost ribs. Noticing the difference between right and left. Feeling into the relationship between chest muscles, upper back, and shoulder girdle. And then the third physical anchor that we'll check in with is hips. So beginning to breathe down towards the hips, giving yourself all the time you need to make contact. Sensing into the connection between shoulder girdle and hip girdle. Almost like a physical conversation between these two very large joints. And the invitation here is to choose one of these areas as your main spot physically. We'll work on all of them, but choosing a priority and begin to place your mind into your priority and soak the breath into your spot. Just as you would give your undivided unconditional love to a friend. To whatever degree you have access, offering that quality to your spot. And then the spiritual focus is something I return to myself again and again. I did a week retreat on this, and if you've been to my classes, it'll be familiar. And I feel like I could do a year or a lifetime retreat. And it's 3 terms. And the first one is accuracy. So turning towards your spot and holding the attribute of accuracy. And one of the affirmations that can be useful for this is, right now it's like this. So if your spot is your neck, you can use this as a curious way to assess how your spot is. Right now, it's like this. And using this powerful, powerful tool of Forrest yoga and many other traditions of focused breathing, placing the mind into an area. As you place the mind behind your focus, the prana soaks into that area. And if it's available, noticing you can do that. And that's a very advanced thing. So letting that create a sense of increase in buoyancy and self-confidence as a practitioner. And then the next attribute is kindness. And oftentimes, certainly as we hear from each other in these check-ins, looking at what it's like right now can be too much. So one of the ways to work with getting in a window of tolerance in a healing space is to infuse accuracy with kindness. I like to picture it as a circle, starting with accuracy and seeing where I can infuse kindness into that circle. And then noticing to yourself, this is what my spot is like when I am infusing and pulling in kindness like silk into my spot. This is how the tissues respond. This is how the energy responds. This is how my mind responds. This is how my spirit responds. And again, whenever you can notice yourself learning and doing the thing, take that in. So you're increasing your personal buoyancy and knowledge that you can keep yourself in a healing mode and learning mode and get yourself out of a stress response. And then the last attribute is bravery. So as a result of doing the deep work of accuracy and getting into right now, it's like this, infusing kindness and seeing where we might be able to not go to one of our go-tos that's not actually useful. So gripping the neck, that is a very common go-to for many of us to help us not feel. Is there a way that we could be brave, keep the neck soft, and feel for another choice? So it's just one example that I'm working with personally. So another way to see how can you widen your sense of knowing that you have choices and making another choice. So we'll play with that in our practice today together. So if you like, you could work with alternate breathing as I'll coach. If for some reason, if you're doing this later as a recording and you're not in a place where you can touch your face, you can work with using your mind to place your mind into alternate nostrils. If you are in a place, you could take your hand and fold down the index finger and middle finger. I'm going to do right hand. Feel free to switch it up. Closing over the right nostril with the right thumb, and then relaxing internally, inhaling through the left nostril, getting curious about feeling that passageway right into your brain. When you're full, pause and get curious. What is your comfort level of holding the breath? When you are ready, exhale everything out through the right, feeling that passageway of the nostril, and then inhaling through the right when you're empty. When you're full, pausing at the top, getting curious about this comfort edge, and exhaling left when you're ready. Getting empty, pulling the belly back to help get empty, and then inhale through the left. Sensing how you're breathing right into your brain, pausing at the top. When you're ready, exhale right. Getting empty, engaging low belly towards spine. Inhale right. When you're full, pause. Lift the rib cage. Exhaling everything out through the left. And then taking yourself through 2 more rounds at your own pace. When you're finished your second round, placing your mind into your spot and continuing this ongoing focused breathing, soaking fresh prana into your spot by placing your mind there as you inhale and expand your ribs with every breath. Exhaling, relaxing neck, relaxing shoulders as best you can. And then from here, taking all the time you need if you're still finishing your alternate breathing, creating some friction and just sensing the relationship between hands and brain. So a lot of the work that we do with our hands in the world activates different cortexes in the brain. So just thinking of that as we work with active hands today. And then placing your active hands over your eyes, finding this balance of active but soft. And sensing your own facial muscles as if you're already in Shavasana, giving yourself permission to let your jaw go, let the palate go. And then let the hands relax down. Again, finding that balance of vibrant, radiant, actively reaching through the fingers and also soft hands. And then from here, beginning to blink the eyes a bit, and rather than doing our formal eye exercises, just allowing yourself to stretch your eyes, keeping the skull bones as relaxed as possible. So the movement and the investigation is into the eyes. Sending your breath behind your movements. Blinking the eyes open. Just sensing accuracy and nowness to the degree that it is available. And then we'll come into that work that we often do of gently beginning as if you had a pencil or a marker or a paintbrush on your nose, beginning to make some shapes. So it could be a circle, but letting your neck tell you how it would like to move. sensing the muscles of the suboccipitals, which are partially what moves the eyes, these muscles right at the base of skull bones. And then letting yourself make any faces that help you to get in contact with, right now, it's like this, in the neck, in the eyes, in the jaw. Maybe some soft lions or full lions. And then taking a pause, stacking the ribs right over the hips, stacking skull bones over ribs, and let's do, personally, I learned this as called the genie stretch, which I'm dating myself to say it reminds me of I Dream of Genie. Right arm up, left arm on top, pressing the arms together, shoulders soft. And then keep the ribs lifted, moving the arms. Let's go to the right, so I'm not mirroring you guys. And then keep going, keeping the gaze pretty much forward. If it comes with you a little bit, no problem. So you're studying into the shoulder girdle in service of studying the relationship between shoulder girdle and neck. And then when you're ready, let the arms relax down. Inhale through a tall core, and then taking a look over one shoulder and then the other, and then just letting this be without pushing your range of motion, letting yourself imagine the discs, the vertebra, sense them internally, however it gives you the ability to say, right now it's like this. And then we'll take that to the other side. So left forearm up, right forearm on top, pressing the arms together, shoulders soften, moving the arms to the left and then back to center. And being open to continually working with scaffolding accuracy, infusing that with kindness. We'll see where we can be braver together and make a warrior's choice, a new healing choice. Relaxing arms down, lifting up through the spine, and then again, without a goal in mind, using this in and of itself as a healing movement. Let the almost, I like to think of letting the neck move. It sometimes feels involuntary. It knows what to do when we trust. And then come on back to center. And then from here, I did not tell you guys this before, but if you could grab something that you could use as a strap, I'm going to use a towel myself, and any of your other objects that might be useful as we get into the practice. And we'll do some shoulder flossing. I'm going to use another makeshift strap. So starting about shoulders width distance, and then come a little bit wider. Inhale the arms up, and then just notice if you stick the ribs out, it's no problem, but then just see if you can soften the ribs down in service of getting more accurate information about your shoulders. Inhale here, and then exhale, the right hand could go behind the head, the other arm is reaching out, and then keep going, studying the tissues response, the energy lines. So we're working on pranavayu, the lung and heart meridian work here. Feeling into the space of the rib cage, and you can let this be smaller or bigger depending on what you feel the best about. And sensing how you can keep coming back to accuracy, weaving in kindness. You could take it into a bit of a twist if that feels interesting. That feels pretty good to me right now. And then from there, giving yourself permission to see what else feels useful. Sensing any amount how the arms could get integrated as levers into the upper core, chest and upper back. So we have serratus anterior at the bottom tip of shoulder blade, perhaps coming online, which is a breathing muscle. And then giving yourself a moment, letting the strap go, softening shoulder girdle, listening in for information. as was so beautifully spoken in the check-in. Often there's so much emotional psychic energy that lives in the shoulders. Seeing what's there, letting kindness be a resource to help you increase your personal buoyancy with being with how it is right now. And we'll do one more thing. If you have hair in the back, it might be easier to do it without a prop. I just loosen mine so my bun fits in. It's almost like the shape of a lat pull. So actually I'm gonna do mine without a prop. So you could use a strap if it works for your body, and you could just come here with an imaginary strap. So inhaling here, and then as if you're pulling down on a bar and you're working on elbows coming down. And what we're working with is studying, do my shoulder blades move? And there's no wrong answer. Scapular mobility is something that changes all the time depending on what's going on. So as you come up and down, feel into what you can learn about your shoulder blades, keeping your sit bones very grounded so you have support below doing the upper body work. Maybe closing eyes if that's useful. Feel into the muscles underneath shoulder blades, which are a lot of heart meridian work, changing this in any fashion. If you don't have a prop, you could come into stretching the hands open. That feels pretty interesting to me. And then when you're ready, relax the arms down, palms up or palms down. Seeing if you can allow yourself to do nothing on inhale. Exhale, infusing kindness through every cell of your body. Giving yourself a pause on inhale. And then from here, let's come into working into the hips a bit more. I'm gonna check myself here. Let's come into unlocking the hips. So coming into Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees wide. And from here, let's come right into the stage we've been working with first and foremost. So sitting down a bit more onto the right hip, left hand to left inner thigh, opposite hand could come back behind you. Sometimes they're gonna come straight out. It works in a bit differently, so play with the hand position. Maybe do a little bit of both. And then really get a sense of that balance of activating your feet and finding some receptivity. Plant the left hip back down. And we'll take it to the other side. So taking the right hand to the inner thigh. And again, play with the hand position. See how the different positions help you get into the hip and low back a bit differently. Lift the ribs. Exhale, softening the neck. Find out where the best place for your gaze is. And then from here, come on back up and we'll come into some shoulder flossing. So if you feel like you're getting rounded in the spine, sit up on your towel or block or something that helps you to lift up. And then from here, we'll come into a seated side bend. Right leg straightens out, activate the foot. You can just warm it up, point and flex a little bit, roll the ankle around, and then get on both sit bones. Find a pad under the knee, whatever you can do that you're grounding your sit bones without stressing your joints. So customize it, right? Grab onto the thigh and then just see if you can get a sense, just like you could do with one of the joints of the fingers, teasing out space in that hip. Move the thigh bone away from the hip. When you're ready, sit back down on both hips evenly, lift your ribs, and then grab onto the ground with that bottom hand, shoulder down. And then from here, if you want to play around with how grip is going to change your shoulder flossing, you could grip a block or any object that's going to activate the shoulder differently, or you can work with active hands. Coming up and over, I would say doing a little bit of both might be interesting so you can see. That hand may either tap down or take the arm behind the back. So grip strength often orients us to our environment more. So just noticing your proprioception if you're gripping, your orienting response. And then just keep playing with it at your own pace, wrapping the shoulder blade. Especially when you have nothing in your hand and the hand is open, it may be easier to get a sense of that shoulder blade moving towards the armpit. And then when you're ready, pause, either hovering the hand, maybe placing that hand on a block, or bringing the back of the palm behind the back. Either way, relaxing the ear to the shoulder, getting on both sit bones, spreading through the toes, feeling for the relationship between skull bones relaxing and active feet. Ever you want to use your neck, see if you can compromise and use your feet instead. And then we'll do one more piece right here. So similar to what we did last week, as if you were pulling back on a bow and arrow, pull back and stretch the arm up. You can inhale here and then stay slow so you can really feel what is the relationship between the front of your shoulder and your pecs. Maybe using that opposite hand to massage open here. So pec minor is a pretty tight muscle, often a grief point on people. So just seeing what you can learn about how is your heart right now. Working with accuracy, working with kindness, being open to bravery arising. Bringing the arm back in line with the torso and then down. Perhaps helping your head back up, feeling that kindness of your own healing touch, and then we'll switch. Again, teasing out space, learning about what's going on in that left hip. Moving energy through the active foot, moving space by moving the thigh bone, and then just noticing when you can realize you can move your own bones. It's pretty, I find it pretty compelling and exciting. So letting yourself build that personal buoyancy of what you're able to do in your practice. Grab onto the ground, slide the shoulder down, shoulder blade moves down, and then choose with or without a prop, sweeping the arm up and over, sweeping the arm over and down, hovering or arm behind the back. Perhaps doing a little bit of both, noticing how the grip changes, what's happening in the engagement of the shoulder, and also in your nervous system. When you are ready, either hovering the hand or hand behind the back, lift the ribs, sensing what is your feeling ability to the diaphragm area, third chakra, this place of personal power and self-esteem, healthy boundaries, brightening up the solar plexus. Exhaling, sensing what is going on in the neck. Right now it's like this. What is going on in the shoulder? What is going on in the hips? Staying committed to your spot. And then coming into releasing the hand, pulling back on that imaginary bow and arrow, stretching across the chest to the shoulders, spreading the pinky finger away from the thumb. Big breath in here, and then on exhale, staying where you can feel front of shoulder, upper chest. Checking out your gaze. Does it feel interesting to look up and soften the scalenes? Look forward, look down. Taking 2 more high quality breaths here. Seeing if you can sense the pectoral muscles responding to the shape. So we're doing the opposite of what typing, driving, biking, all of that internal rotation that many of our activities require. And then arm comes back in line with torso, reach through the arms, cradling your head. And then come on back to bringing the legs, well, we haven't been here, so not back, come into Dandasana, legs straight. And you can do this with or without your prop. There'll be a lot of that. So elbows up. If you're using a prop, grab onto your block. Inhaling here. Exhaling, shoulders down, shoulder blades down. Send the elbow tips slightly forward as if someone was standing there giving you a resistance move. And you could play with gripping the block or open hands, maybe a little bit of both if you're using a block. And so unlocking the shoulders, making space, just like moving the thigh bone, sending the upper arm bone forward, and then releasing, letting the block go. In your Dandasana, get the outer edges of your feet parallel, spread through the toes. And then from here, bring the elbows back up, this time without your prop. And then big breath in here. And then on exhale, bringing the forearms away from each other into sort of V shape. The elbow tips stay where they are. Feel what activates. So we're targeting serratus anterior, this incredibly important postural muscle and breathing muscle. That is, it's like a pizza pie shaped triangular muscle that moves the shoulder blade towards the armpit. So very important for basic move of wrapping shoulders. When you're ready, relax the arms, take a feeling breath. We'll do a little bit of seated bird wing here. So staying with active and dynamic legs, active feet, and then bringing the palms face up like you're holding something beautiful in front of you. And then the upper arms are really hugging in. Slide the biceps ever so slightly forward, right? So inhale here. Exhale, forearms move away from each other, elbows tweeze in, shoulders down, shoulder blades move down. Maybe even playing with doing one side at a time so you can sense that. Inhale, exhale, forearms move out, elbows tweeze in, shoulders down, shoulder blades down. Really see if you can hug the arms to the side body. And we'll do one more here. Inhale, exhale, forearms move away from each other, tweeze the elbows in, shoulders down, shoulder blades move down. And then take a feeling breath here. Let's go ahead and come onto the back. So we're gonna work into a lot of what we've been working with, sit bone muscle awareness. So come on down to your back, working with using the ground to learn to breathe into kidneys. So giving yourself time here to feel into relaxing your feet across the floor, letting your front ribs soften into your back ribs. And then from here, we'll do elbow to knee to start. So let's do knees over hips, spread through the toes. Interlace your hands in your non-habitual way behind the base of your skull bones. Shoulders and shoulder blades down. Strong reach through the upper arms. Head and chest comes up, relax head into hands. And then from here, inhale, broaden into your back ribs. Curl the tailbone so the knees are reaching straight up to the ceiling. And then on exhale, both elbows reach to the right. Straighten through the left leg. Pull the low belly down. Really make space in that hip like a kick. And then what we'll do for stage 2 today is press the inner right ankle to the inner left calf. Press and then curl up a second time. Pull the low belly down. Stage 2, come back. Other side, come back to center, inhale across your kidney area, curl the tailbone up, and then on exhale, both elbows reach to the left, straighten through the right leg. Again, move thigh bone away from hip, low belly pulls in. Stage 2, ankle presses to calf, curl up a second time, low belly pulls in, inhale to center. Curl tailbone up, knees reach straight up, exhaling, elbows reach right. If you can get off the right shoulder, great, not required. Low belly pulls in. Stage 2, waking up the inner leg line, calf muscle. Press ankle into calf and calf into ankle. Curl up a second time, engaging belly towards spine. Inhale to center. Curl tailbone. Exhale, elbows reach to the left. Straighten through the right leg. Low belly pulls in. Ankle presses to calf. Curl up the second time. Low belly pulls in. We'll go through one more round of this. Inhale to center. Curl tailbone up, exhaling, elbows reach to the right, straighten through the left leg, low belly pulls in. Stage 2, ankle presses to calf, curl up a second time, low belly pulls in, inhale to center, curl tailbone. Knees reach straight up. Exhale, elbows reach left, straighten through the right leg. Low belly pulls in, stage 2. Ankle presses the calf. Curl up the second time, low belly pulls in. Inhale to center, head and chest comes down. Either feet flat or any other variation, maybe Baddha Konasana. Give yourself a moment to feel for receiving the nutrients. And noticing that skill of being able to feed yourself with your practice rather than berate yourself with your practice. It's a very critical update. From here, we're going to come into straddle lifting through. So first, reaching the legs straight up, starting with getting the outer edges of the feet parallel to wake up the legs, and then switch up the interlace of what you did on the first side, feeling that your active hands connecting you to your brain. Hands behind the base of the skull bones, feeling how you're actually cradling your brain. And then from there, to the degree you're warmed up, come into your straddle. You can work with flex feet or work with a floint, which is like a half flex and half point, so you're reaching through the ball of the foot a little more. From here, picking head and chest out, relaxing head into hands, shoulder and shoulder blades down, elbow tips reach up. Filling into back bottom ribs. And then on exhale, press the top rim of the sacrum down, curl pubic bone towards navel, elbows reach up, skyward, low belly pulls in, coming down a few inches. If you're close to a wall like I am, you can use that kick through the leg to see, am I getting that really strong reach? Inhale, across back bottom ribs. Exhale, curl pubic bone, elbows reach up, sensing are the low abs coming online, low belly pulls in. Head and chest comes down. Let's do 2 more of this version. Inhale. Exhale, press the top rim of the sacrum down, curl pubic bone, reach out through inner legs and outer legs, elbows reaching up, low belly pulls in. Head and chest comes down. Give yourself breath support. Inhale, cross back bottom ribs. Exhale, curl pubic bone, elbows reach up, thigh bones move away from the hips, low belly pulls in. Gently place the head and chest down, gently bring the legs back to hips with distance. And then again, choosing either feet together, knees wide, or perhaps knees together, feet wide. Either way, using this shape to absorb the nutrients of your core work. And then from here, let's come into a flowing bridge. So option to use something to the inner legs to help squeeze and engage. Otherwise, you can do that with your awareness. So feet right underneath the knees. And again, I've been coaching, if you have any hip flexor issues, coming a little bit ahead with the feet can be, I found that useful for myself recently. Relaxing the arms, perhaps palms facing up, wherever you can keep the upper body as relaxed as possible, like Shavasana level. And then let the work be in the lower body. So we'll inhale across the back bottom ribs, and we'll do our flowing bridge. So letting it be a very small bridge, lifting the weight of the pelvis up, and then lowering down, using this as an investigation into how are the hips and low back right now. Inhale across back bottom ribs. Exhale, press the ground away, sensing what else you can recognize about how things are with the hips right now. As you're ready, letting the shape of your bridge grow in increments so the hips lift a bit higher, sensing how the front of the hips respond. And then when you're ready, find your variation of bridge that you want to hold. Pressing the ground away, feeling for this awakening into the power of the legs and the way active feet can take dysregulated, ungrounded energy and help you find a grounding cord. Breathing a grounding cord from low belly all the way down through your active feet into the center of the earth. And then we'll do 1 round of Uddiyana to transition out of bridge. Internally soften, fill all the way up with breath. And then exhale everything out as smoothly as possible. When you're empty, keep the breath out. Pull the belly back, lowering down out of your bridge, and then completely relax the belly and breathe in a way that makes space. And then using this moment to say, right now it's like this, in my body, in my mind. Infusing the nowness with kindness to see what arises. Keep the neck relaxed, rolling onto one side and come up to tabletop. And then from here, we're going to come right into downward facing dog. So turbo dog is an option if you know it. I'm going to talk us through down dog. So first, really press the ground away, shoulders and shoulder blades down. Hands come forward about a hand's width distance. Root your inner hands and then lightly roll the inner elbows in, shoulders down. Check out your neck. Take a big breath in, fill into your back ribs. As you come into your down dog, knit your front ribs in and down. Maybe you keep your knees really bent. And the priority of sensing your area. Taking any movements that help you to find your first down dog in a way that engages learning, that engages curiosity and kindness. And then step the feet together. Let's do a three-legged down dog with a lot of focus. Keep the hips squared to start. Lift the left leg. Kick through the heel. Use your glutes. And then bend the knee. Pulse that heel towards the ceiling first before we open the hip so that you're coming into like a half frog first. And then seeing where you can move in a way where you're really not on autopilot, that you're paying attention and seeing how is that left hip. When you're ready, lengthen the thigh bone away from the hip, maybe point and flex a few times, lowering down with control. And then the same thing, other side. Keep the hips squared, kick through the heel, using the glutes to lift the leg, bend the knee and pulse the heel to the ceiling. So you're engaging the hip girdle, opening into a half frog shape, and then stacking the hips a bit, opening into that. From there, lengthen the thigh bone away from the hip, lower down, and come into your forward bend. From there, outer edges of the feet parallel. Bring your thumbs and your index finger pressing into the head of the thigh bones. Engage the low abs. Let your head go. Look towards your navel. Perhaps take some movements that help you let the weight of your head stretch your cervical spine. Move your shoulders away from your ears. And then from there, engage. Coming up with a flat back for this transition. Come on up. Let's come into some classical sun. So hands to heart center, outer edges of the feet parallel. Lift your ribs, sensing the space between hips and torso. Soft knees. Use your hip hinge as you fold, so you're not taxing the low spine, head heavy. Inhale, left leg steps back. You can fold your mat in or use your towel. And then from here, press into both feet. Wake up your legs. Curl the pubic bone, engage the glutes, especially on the left. And then come on up again, lift your ribs. Wrapping shoulder blades, and let's come into a few breaths here, feeling what happens in your spot, adjusting wherever you need, arm position, gaze position. And then from here, hold on to the whole right hip. Telescope ribs, reach up and over into your side bend. Feel what shows up. Keep the hip grounded so you have a root to rise up out of, wrap the shoulder blade. And then from there, come on back up. We're going to add in a twist here. So option, either back the hips up and keep that knee down, or curl the toes under and kick through that leg and lift the knee. Lengthen through the spine, and then another choice point, either elbow outside the thigh or open the arms. Either way, keep your feet active. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, orienting the back of the head towards the upper left-hand corner of the mat. So you're unfurling the thoracic spine as best you can. Unwind your twist, and then come back into plank. So you decide, knees up or knees down, what takes care of your joints. Lengthening the spine, high quality transition. Press the ground away the whole time. Lift each leg, internally rotate the thigh bones. Feet are grounded. Let's do some cobra push-ups. Hands under shoulders. Just like our bridge, grow your cobra in increments. Legs are solid. Inner legs, glutes working. Heart reaches forward, lowering down. Changing this in any way that helps you to wake up your spine and work with your area. And then do one more cobra push-up, lowering down. Come into crocodile, so either make a pillow and place your forehead or cheek on it. You can also place both forearms on the ground, place your forehead on the mat. Keep reaching through your legs, feeling the hips and the ground as a way to use the ground as an anchor to sense what's going on in the hips. And so we'll do one more thing here, Shalabhasana variation, hands at tented fingertips, legs stay solid. Inhale, chest comes forward and up. Exhale, look under the left shoulder, let the right shoulder roll in, and then notice, are my feet grounded when you're looking back there? Coming side to side. And then again, take a feeling breath into your area, listening, responding. Hands under shoulders, shoulders away from ears, coming back, sensing the shoulders in functional movement, sensing the knitting of the ribs down and in. And then from there, setting your gaze to one spot, softening the neck. And then from there, stepping the left leg forward. And then one cue I learned recently from our friend Liza is to step wide. If stepping straight forward is not accessible, step wide outside your left hand is a great way to adapt that transition. And then from there, lunge, both feet press the ground away. Engage the glutes, especially on the right hamstring insertion. Lift the ribs, feeling your whole body and all of your actions that you're doing here. So tailbone down, lifting ribs, wrapping shoulder blades, active hands, relaxed neck. Expanding into where you can sense your learning over all of the time you've been steadfast in your practice. Hold on to that left hip, lift your ribs, reach up and over. Keep the right hip grounded so you're rooted and then you're rising up, opening all of that fascia on the right side here. And then from there, come on up, let's twist. So you can back the hips up and keep the knee down or curl the toes under and kick through that leg. Whichever you choose, keep breathing. And then take the elbow outside the thigh. So you can either make a fist, I prefer this with the bottom hand and blanket it. You do prayer hands, or you can open your arms. Either way, that left hip wings out. Keep it tucking under. Inhale, lengthen. And then sensing your body in this shape. Axial rotation of your spine bones. Unwind your spine from your twist. And then from there, step the right foot up to the top of the mat. And then either come up with your flat back or round up. See what feels better. Once you're up, lift your ribs. Keep the front ribs softening down so you have that experience first. And then open chest, saluting the sun. Hands to heart center. Let's come right into the next round. Sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right leg steps back, come into your lunge. And then in your lunge, pad your knee if you need more support. Options here. We're working into some quad support. So option one, hands onto the thighs and just see if you can come forward in a way that helps you to feel your quads more. If it's interesting to you, begin to bend the knee. Getting ahead of the kneecap, so you're not on the kneecap. if it is available and interesting, seeing if you can take the foot any amount towards the sit bone. And then breathe. Whichever place you're working, sensing the frontal hip points, lifting up through the core. And then from there, releasing the foot if you have it, taking yourself back through your plank, and we're gonna come through half bow, lowering all the way down, lengthen back through both legs, and then some people, depends on what you're working with, come into Sphinx to start this. Other folks like to stay laying down. Either way, feel into how the ground helps you notice what is going on in the hips. Press into the top of the left foot and then bend the knee. Investigating into the quads with your breath. If it's interesting and available, you can grab the foot or the ankle. You can use a strap. Sometimes it takes a little bit of wrangling to get it there, but it might help. But you can do it with just bending the knee and investigating, sort of rolling the quad on the ground. It also becomes more of a glute activator, which is useful. Hamstring activator. When you're ready, switch sides, releasing the foot. Lengthen back through both legs, getting so all of the quads are face down onto the mat. Press into the top of the right foot, bending into the knee. Curl the pubic bone, which will give you more information about the front of the pelvis. Reaching for the foot if it's there for you, foot or ankle. Lengthening the front core line, sort of like a mini cobra here. Lengthening the heart forward. Taking a few more breaths. And then from there, lowering down, take a pause. And then just sensing the relationship between getting into the quads and the awareness of the hips. Let's do some shoulder shrugs here. So lifting chest, lifting shoulders, lifting upper back, lift the legs. Hover the hands next to shoulders about 6 inches. 6 inches off of the ground. Inhale, broaden shoulder blades. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades. Reach through the legs. Back of the neck stays long. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, broaden upper back. Exhale, squeeze shoulders, shoulder blades, elbow tips. Reach through the legs. Inhale, broaden upper back. Exhale, squeeze shoulders, shoulder blades, elbow tips. Reach through the legs. And lower down. Take a feeling breath here. And then from there, hands on your shoulders, moving shoulder blades down the back, pressing through tabletop into downward facing dog. And then from there, right leg is coming forward. And again, feel free to step outside the hand. If stepping straight up the mat is not your thing. And then from there, first do a sweep up to help you find that brightening that you can get from using your arms into that reaching up. And track the sit bone muscle so you're stabilizing into the hip. Press through both feet. And then from there, working with hands on the thighs, so you're sort of scooping down and forward to coax some space in the hip as well as get into the front of the quads. Option to bend into the knee, getting ahead of the kneecap. Option to reach for the foot. And then from there, if you have the back foot down, hugging the front heel back and the back knee forward is another interesting move for some people. For some people with sensitive knees, not so much, so you gotta do your research, paying attention to your unique practice and needs. Notice what's happening in your spot. Gently placing the foot down if you had it lifted. And then from there, stepping up to the top of the mat. Sweeping up, lift the ribs, open chest and shoulders, hands come through the midline. So from here, get the outer edges of the feet parallel, perhaps even a little bit wider than hips width distance. And we'll do our prep for Shavasana standing here. So first, just let some weight land into your feet. Maybe flutter the lips. I like to sometimes imagine like a shower drain of excess energy just sinking down through my feet. And then from there, beginning to press the arms as if you're throwing something behind you. So this is heart meridian work here, specifically bringing awareness to the back of heart, which in this system of Forrest yoga is very much about, do you include yourself in your ethics, in the level of love and respect that you offer to everyone, turning that towards you. Noticing the physical qualities of the back of heart, the muscles underneath shoulder blades, the energetic qualities. And then letting this grow from your own unique needs, starting by shaking the hands, maybe flicking the hands to move any stuck energy, and then letting that grow or not, letting it maybe perhaps stay smaller, perhaps bouncing the knees, and just letting yourself have some time to let your intelligent body infuse your nervous system with kindness and compassion. Notice how your breath responds to that intent. And then when you're ready, finding stillness, inhale, do nothing. Exhale, infusing every cell with kindness. And then when you feel ready, gently taking yourself to Shavasana, lowering down, setting up whatever props, whatever shape will give you the ideal relaxation. And then walking through this energetic threshold from basic moves and intentional breathing to letting any of that go, and practicing this advanced asana of letting go, being held, turning it all over to basic goodness of yourself, of your intelligent body and nature. Begin to hone your awareness on the sensation of the inhale. Seeing where you can get as specific as possible of sensing the temperature, the texture, the presence of your breath. Coming back to this awareness of accuracy, and then infusing that with kindness, as if you could literally breathe in through the heart, sensing the prana moving right into the parts of your heart that could use more kindness, and sharing that with your brain, your gut, and the rest of your body. And being open to what else is possible to be braver in your life as a result of this really good work, individually and together. When you're ready, take yourself onto one side. And then press into the ground, feeling all the way through the transition from the vertical, the horizontal plane to the vertical. Grounding down and then growing your spine tall, sensing into both you as this vertical axis and the horizontal circle of practice that we are together. And then bringing the hands to touch, to bow to each other and seal this time. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Karuna.
Thanks, everyone. See you next Monday or before.
Goodie.
Yes. Look at that radiant face.
Thank you, Karuna.
Thank you so much, Maureen. So good to see you.
See you next week.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you. See everyone. Thank you.
Martha, I love your shirt.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Lisa.
Hi. Hi, Lisa.
Hi. Mwah. Hi,
Good
Liz.
to see you.
Hey, you guys have a second. Usually my friends are waiting right here.
Where are they?
They're usually right. Look who's here! Look who's here, you guys! They're backlit. Can you see them?
Oh, look at them.
Look how giant they are.
Hi, girls.
Say hi, Allie.
How are you? Hi. Look how big you are.
They are so big.
They're so
Oh,
big.
my
They're
goodness.
so busy. They're so busy.
I bet they are. Walking around, pulling
Yeah.
everything down.
Yes.
Oh.
Aw.
Can you say hi, Allie? Hi, Lisa.
Hi, guys.
Hello,
How are you?
beautifuls. Hello, beautifuls.
Neoma has the binky and Haven doesn't.
They both like it?
Oh, they're big. The pediatrician said at 1 year, just get rid of it. And I was like, okay. And then 1 year came, I'm like, are you going to come to my house and take care of the aftermath?
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
No.
Yeah, Neoma's more of a fan, but they both like it, especially at.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, girls.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, babies. Bye, Karuna.
Bye. Good to see you.
I know, honey.